When my daughter was born a few months ago, I thought I would instantly feel like a dad, like it would just click for me immediately. And that's not how it actually happened. And that has also caught me off guard. So when Janelle and I, or I guess physically Janelle, us as a team became pregnant, um, there was a lot of looking toward the future and, obviously planning ahead. You have this, your family is expanding, you're having a child, so you want to prepare. So there's a lot of research, just talking to other, talking to parents, people that we know, we trust, we like the way their kids turned out, stuff like that. And then also just acquiring the tools or the stuff necessary to, you know, provide a home for a baby. Um, but one of the things that I realized very recently, was that I just assumed that when my daughter was born, that I never really thought too much about how I would feel as a parent. I just assumed like, oh, you'll be a dad now. Like when and then I was focused on probably other more important things. Um, but I realized right away that returning home from the birthing center, essentially, at least in the first week to 2 weeks, providing constant care for Janelle, as well as, keeping a close eye on the baby and if Janelle needs something for the baby or something like, kind of mixing in that way. But now when I look back on it, she was born in December. I didn't feel instantly like a parent. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm a different man. I felt more love. I felt more responsibility. I kind of felt more, and I definitely felt more respect for Janelle after watching her give birth and go through labor. And I also had a newfound kind of wholeness, now that it felt like a family, if that makes sense. But I didn't feel like a dad. Um, and it got me thinking, got me realizing that, just like something I said in an earlier video, I don't think that feeling or that moment is just going to come overnight or come in one instantaneous moment. I think it's an accumulation, if I had to guess, an accumulation of milestones and moments with my daughter that kind of, bring us closer and closer together. Um, but one of the things that somebody had actually sent me a link to this, was just a conversation with a child psychologist. And it was it was a long podcast actually. And there's this concept that the non-birthing parent or the father, it takes them longer to feel that connection to their child than it does for the birthing parent or for the mother. Um, and I definitely feel that now. In the last month, I spend a few hours every Saturday alone with my daughter, caring for her. It's not a lot, but working full time and then, having Janelle go to work for a few hours on a Saturday, that time with her, first of all, gives me a huge amount of respect every minute of that 3.5 hours for Janelle and what she deals with every single day. But it also made me realize that it's not until I do more of that. It's not until, like it's like almost what's the term? Like time on task, getting the reps in, whether you're practicing for, I don't know, a sport or some skill. But I do feel like all these little micro interactions with my daughter build toward that feeling of, oh, I'm a dad now, you know? I've had people at work say like, oh, you're a dad now. What do you think about XYZ? And I'm like, huh? Like, if I've been a dad, I've been a dad for 3.5 months. I don't know that that's being a dad. Um, but the 90-day rule, or what this professional or this expert was talking about, was that it can take at least 90 days, and sometimes it can take 6 months, 10 months, for the father to feel like they have that you know, that link that you see immediately between the mother and the child. So that made me feel a little bit better because I didn't feel detached from my daughter, but I didn't feel that same, what looked like a biochemical attraction and link that she has with Janelle. So that made me feel better. But I will say, in the point of this video, there was a moment, and I'll share it with you right now, where it clicked for me. It kind of took the responsibility angle of being a father and husband, partner. We are not married yet, but we likely will be married this year. But it took sort of equal parts, like, you're responsible for this human being, as well as, you know, that with that responsibility comes with protection and providing for that family. And so the first time that I remember vividly driving to work, elevated heart rate, and you'll know why in a second, thinking to myself, like, this is what feeling, you know, when you feeling like a dad must sometimes, unfortunately, feel like this. And what happened was, we have our bedroom is upstairs. All the other space in the home is downstairs. And as she does every morning, Janelle was coming downstairs with the baby. I get up super early for work. This was a weekday. And right before she hit the last stair, they're carpeted stairs, but Janelle slipped. What I heard sitting in our front room having my coffee, you know, I can hear them stirring. I'm like getting excited because I get to see my daughter before I shower and go to work. But as I could hear the rustling upstairs, and then at some point it was a little bit quiet, and then I heard the loudest bang maybe I've ever heard. And then I immediately kind of looked like this, like, you know, like kind of snapped to attention. And it would felt like a half a second later, I heard a baby screaming. Now in my head, I want to say I thought about this and I did this and I consciously, you know, no, I blacked out, somehow ended up from our front room to the bottom of the stairs in what felt like 2 steps, when in reality it was a lot more, and immediately wrapped my arms around both of them. Because now what I do remember after, as the adrenaline spiked, was that, oh my God, did she fall forward and let go of the baby? You know, there's a lot of things that are racing through your mind. Point is, we step into the living room, bring him to the couch, and just sit down. The baby's crying. You know, Janelle, I think because of the baby being potentially, possibly in that moment in pain, we don't know, she's now crying. And the only thing I can do is hold them both and tell them they're okay. And the reason why this to me was the first moment I felt like a dad is, I don't know why I'm putting that in air quotes, but maybe felt. It's because it was instinctual. It wasn't a pre-programmed or conscious thought like, oh, I should go check on them. It was, I've never gotten out of a chair this fast in my life and moved like this through a house, to be honest with you. And it was intense. But driving to work that day, I just remember thinking to myself, I'm really glad that it naturally came to me. I'm really glad that that proved to me that there was this connection there to this little girl, to this baby, and kind of by extension, you know, to my fiance, that was there, you know, because sometimes I think if those things aren't tested, it can be easy for a guy having their first child to just be like, man, I kind of feel like a spectator sometimes. My wife or my significant other, like, they seem super attached to the kid, you know, like, I love this child, but I don't know if I'm as attached as that. And I think that this will only increase as I have more time with my daughter and as she grows. But that was the first moment where I was like, shit, your life is different. All of this is hitting different. The stakes are raised but so is the love and the connection that you have to somebody else. I'm gonna check with Janelle now and see if she has any input on when did it feel like for her. And who knows, maybe I never, maybe she's not there yet. Maybe I still don't seem like a dad. I don't know. So let's see what she has to say. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
When did it feel like I became a dad to you?
To me, you became a dad at 7 weeks. So when we had our first appointment at Seven Sisters just to check out the place, she did an ultrasound, and at 7 weeks, we saw her little heartbeat like flicker on the screen. And I feel like at that point, you knew it was very real and working. And that's when all the like questions, concerns, and hypotheticals started coming into play. Like you started thinking like a dad. That's the very first moment.
Okay. That's quite a bit different than
And no,
but it's a sweet
and then
answer.
every moment after that, you've just become a dad in different ways. You know, like when she was born, physically you were actually a father at that point. And as she's growing now, you care for her in different ways as she's getting older.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, the drool is incredible, Tati. But thank you for letting us record, baby.